People say history is written by the winners, but that isn't true. History is written by whoever survives the longest, and sometimes those survivors leave behind secrets they never meant the world to discover. In 1813, a government unit that officially did not exist discovered something in the American frontier. Something older than the tribes, older than the colonies, older than anything the New World was supposed to contain. They tried to bury it, but the earth remembers. And 2 centuries later, someone found the key. This is that story. The return to Meriden. The storm rolled over Meriden, Ohio like a slow-moving beast. Thunder cracked above the abandoned courthouse as Lewis Carter guided his SUV off the highway and onto a gravel road half swallowed by weeds. He killed the engine. The courthouse loomed through sheets of rain, a forgotten structure from 1811, built by frontier settlers and left to rot when the town moved westward. Its windows were shattered. Its roof sagged, but its basement, that was where Carter's investigation pointed. And his investigations were never wrong. He stepped outside, boots sinking into mud. Rain soaked his jacket instantly, but he didn't slow down. He had spent 15 years in U.S. military intelligence, retiring after an operation gone sideways in 2011. Since then, he had been running an independent research group tracking suppressed American history. Tonight, he wasn't alone. A second car pulled into the clearing. Dr. Evelyn Grant, a historian specializing in early frontier conflicts, emerged holding a waterproof folder. Moments later, Michael Reyes, an investigative journalist, joined them. "You sure this is the place?" Reyes asked. Carter nodded. "The coordinates came from a coded letter sent in 1813, he said, written by Captain Elias Morrow. Evelyn froze. "But he vanished." "Exactly," Carter replied. They entered the courthouse. The wooden floor groaned under their feet. Cobwebs hung from rafters like ancient banners. A rusted sign on the wall read, "Meriden Circuit Court, Est 1811. They found the stairs leading downward. Carter grabbed a lantern, lit it, and stepped into darkness. The basement smelled of mold and forgotten years. Their footsteps echoed off stone walls. Carter led them toward a wall that looked wrong. A faint seam ran vertically across the bricks. Evelyn brushed dust from the seam. "This isn't a wall," she whispered. "It's a door." A metal latch stuck out just enough for Carter to grip. He pulled. The wall swung open with a shudder. Inside lay a crude chamber, bigger than expected. Stacks of wooden crates. A desk covered in papers fused together by moisture. A thick, leather-bound ledger lay in the center. Reyes opened it carefully. His eyebrows shot up. "This entire ledger, it's written in cipher." Evelyn leaned closer, tracing the symbols. "It's the same encryption used by War Department field officers, early 1800s. Carter scanned the shelves. At the back of the room sat 2 large crates marked Property of Department of War, 1813, Project Ravenhall. His blood ran cold. Ravenhall wasn't supposed to be real. It was a rumor whispered among intelligence circles, an 1800s predecessor to modern black budget operations, a unit that reported directly to the Secretary of War, a unit that performed missions not found in any textbook. They pried open the first crate. Inside were oil-wrapped papers, surprisingly intact. Carter lifted the top bundle. The ink was faded but still readable. Field testimony. Captain Elias Morrow, Jan 19, 1813. Evelyn gasped. His last recorded day alive. Carter read aloud. "We were instructed to follow the Shawnee Guide north. Instead of a settlement, he led us to a stone door in the earth." Reyes stared. "A subterranean structure?" Evelyn nodded slowly. "Pre-colonial, from the description." Carter continued. "Inside, we found shelves carved into bedrock, tools of a metal unfamiliar, and tablets engraved with symbols no scholar could interpret." Evelyn whispered, "This would change American archaeology forever." Reyes stepped back. So they found evidence of an older civilization? Or something else, Carter said. He read the next lines. On the second night, a tall figure entered our camp. His garments were stitched with stone beads. He warned us, "What was sealed is not to be moved," and vanished without sound. Silence filled the chamber. "This isn't Native American," Evelyn whispered. "No tribe described anything like this." Reyes gulped. "Then who was he?" Carter didn't answer, because he had already opened the second crate. Inside was a stone tablet embedded with metallic veins that shimmered strangely under the lantern light. The metal wasn't iron, not copper, not silver. It was something unclassified. When Reyes touched it, the tablet hummed. The soft vibrations sent a chill through all three of them. Evelyn examined it closely. "These markings, they aren't decorative. They align like coordinates." Carter's voice trembled. "I've seen these symbols before," he said, "in a classified folder about an anomaly discovered in 1947. Evelyn's eyes widened. "Are you saying this same material was found again?" "Yes," Carter answered, "and the government buried it again." At the bottom of the crate, they found a leather pouch. Inside was a note. "For whoever finds this, the truth is not lost. It was buried. Follow the river where the earth swallows light. E.M." Evelyn inhaled sharply. "The devil sink." Reyes blinked. "Where's that?" "Southern Ohio," Evelyn said. "A geological pit where daylight disappears even at noon. Shawnee legends forbid entering it." Carter tightened his grip on the note. "We leave at dawn." He lifted the lantern. Before they could exit, a sound echoed from the courthouse above. A footstep. Then another. Reyes froze. "Someone's here." The lantern flickered. Evelyn grabbed the tablet. Reyes stuffed the letter into his jacket. Carter extinguished the flame. Darkness swallowed the room. The footsteps grew louder, approaching the basement slowly, deliberately. A familiar voice drifted down the stairs. "You were warned not to open those crates." Carter's blood iced. He knew that voice. General Marcus Thorne, former director of clandestine operations, a man who vanished from public life but never stopped pulling strings. The man who once told Carter, "Some truths keep a nation alive. Others would burn it to the ground." The lantern suddenly flared back to life on its own. Bootsteps reached the final stair. Carter whispered only one word: "Run." The chamber shook as everything plunged into chaos, and the truth they had uncovered finally awake.
The door that never should have been opened. The basement door trembled in the faint draft as Lewis Carter pressed his back against the cold stone. Evelyn held the humming tablet to her chest, while Michael Reyes gripped the lantern so tightly his knuckles whitened. Above them, slow and heavy footsteps descended the courthouse stairs. Carter whispered, "Stay behind me." Reyes swallowed. "Who do you think it is?" Evelyn didn't answer. She couldn't, because she already knew. The voice came again, calm, aged, commanding. "You shouldn't have touched those crates." The lantern flame wavered like it was afraid. General Marcus Thorne appeared at the foot of the stairs. Grayed hair, military posture, eyes sharp as bayonets. Even in the dim light, his presence filled the basement with tension. He wasn't supposed to be alive. He was reported dead 7 years ago. But Carter knew the truth. Men like Thorne never die. They simply move deeper into the shadows. "General," Carter said quietly, "what are you doing here?" Thorne looked at the open crates, at the ledger, at the tablet in Evelyn's hands, and his jaw tightened. "I came to seal what should never have been found." Evelyn stepped forward, despite shaking. "This tablet, Captain Morrow's testimony, the underground structure, what were you hiding?" Thorn stared at her with that cold, unreadable expression. "We weren't hiding history. We were protecting your future." Carter stepped between them. "Cut the riddles. Why would the War Department in 1813 classify an archaeological discovery?" Thorn took a slow breath. "Because it wasn't archaeological." The room froze. Before anyone could speak, the humming tablet in Evelyn's hands suddenly glowed faintly, long metallic veins flickering like fireflies trapped in stone. Thorn's eyes widened. "You activated it?" "I didn't touch anything," Evelyn whispered. The tablet pulsed again. Carter felt the vibration through the floor. "What does it do?" Reyes asked. Thorn finally answered, "It isn't a map, it's a beacon." Evelyn's breath caught. A beacon? For whom? Thorn's voice was almost a whisper. "For whatever built the structure beneath the Ohio Valley." The truth that had been buried. Carter pointed at the crates. Captain Morrow wrote about a tall man approaching their camp, a figure wearing garments stitched with stone beads. Who was he? Thorn wiped dust from the old ledger. That wasn't a man. It was a sentinel. Reyes frowned. A what? A guardian, Thorn clarified. Left behind by a civilization that existed before the Shawnee, before the Hopewell, before the Adena. Carter felt the world tilt. "You're saying America had an unknown ancient civilization?" Thorn didn't blink. Not just a civilization, a technologically advanced one. Reyes exhaled sharply. "That's impossible. There's no record." "That's the point," Thorn cut in. "Ravenhall erased it." Evelyn whispered, "Why?" Thorn turned toward the tablet. "Because their technology didn't die with them, and because anyone who tried to understand it went insane." The basement seemed to shrink, the air thickening with the weight of unspoken centuries. Carter gritted his teeth. "What happened in 1813? Thorn finally answered. "Captain Morrow didn't disappear. He was taken." The warning left in blood. Thorn lifted another folder from the crate, a document sealed in wax for over 200 years. He broke it open and handed it to Carter. Inside were sketches, a circular underground chamber, geometric symbols carved into stone pillars, a sarcophagus-like structure made of the same shimmering metal as the tablet, and at the center, an engraving of a tall, human-like figure. Evelyn touched the sketch. "This looks similar to the description Morrow gave." "Because this is what he saw."
Reyes leaned in. "Why didn't the government release this? This is groundbreaking." Thorn looked at him with haunted eyes. When Morrow touched the central structure, it awakened. The chamber lit up with patterns, and something inside that sarcophagus moved. Evelyn stepped back. "You're saying it was alive?" "Alive, or something close to it," Thorn said. Carter clenched his fists, so Ravenhall covered it up. "And buried the chamber," Thorn nodded. "But they couldn't destroy the tablets, they couldn't destroy the metal, so they locked them away." Evelyn spoke softly. "And now we've unlocked them." The tablet pulsed again, brighter this time. A high vibrating frequency shook dust from the beams overhead. Thorn's voice hardened. "You awakened its signal, and if you don't put it back, that signal will reach places you do not want it to reach." Carter stepped forward sharply.
And what are you planning to do?" Thorn lifted a small metal object from his coat. A detonation trigger. "I'm going to bury this courthouse tonight." Reyes panicked. "You'll kill us!" "I don't want to, but I will if it means preventing what's coming." Carter lunged. Thorn stepped back and pressed the trigger. A distant explosion rocked the foundation. Dust rained from the ceiling. The staircase collapsed behind Thorn. The only exit was gone. Thorn locked eyes with Carter. "Find the devil's sink before the signal does. It's the only way to stop it." Then he disappeared into the collapsing darkness, and the basement shuddered violently. Carter grabbed Evelyn's arm. "Move, now!" The tablet glowed, as if waking up fully, metal veins lighting the entire chamber in silver blue. The air vibrated, and then from somewhere deep beneath the courthouse came a sound. A low, resonant, unnatural hum, like something ancient and patient and no longer sleeping.